The wind sweeps across the open fields of Heartland. Horses run free under the wide sky, but one young heart feels a heavy silence. Lyndy gazes out across the ranch, clutching a small drawing in her hand, a picture of her father. She whispers his name softly, but only the sound of the breeze answers back. The world moves on, but for Lyndy, a missing piece can never be replaced. This season, her journey begins with a question that every fan has carried in their hearts. How do you move forward when someone you love is gone, yet never forgotten? The story of Heartland has always been about family, love, and healing. And Season 19 begins with the weight of memory pressing gently on the shoulders of the youngest Fleming. Lyndy, now a little older, walks through the ranch with curious eyes, but there's a shadow in her steps. She has grown up hearing stories of her father, Ty, but those stories can't quiet the ache of his absence. The first episode of the season doesn't shy away from this. Panit embraces it. Through quiet, emotional moments, we see how deeply Lyndy misses him. She often sits on the porch steps where Ty once stood, watching the sun sink over the hills. In her small hands, she sometimes holds an old photo of him, not with tears, but with a kind of searching wonder. Who was he, beyond the stories? What did his voice sound like when he laughed? These questions fill her mind, and as the audience, we feel that ache too. It's not just about loss. It's about the longing of a child to know her father in ways she never could. Amy notices these silent struggles. She sees the way Lyndy's eyes linger on the stable where Ty spent so much of his time. She hears the soft questions at bedtime, questions that are hard to answer with words alone. And yet Amy tries, weaving memories into bedtime stories. She tells Lyndy about the kindness Ty showed to every animal, about the way he believed in second chances, about the way he loved so fiercely that it changed lives. But no story, no matter how beautiful, can fill the empty chair at the table. That empty space speaks louder than any words ever could. The season begins not with loud drama, but with quiet truths. Lyndy's world is filled with laughter, horses, and family warmth, but behind her smile lies a quiet ache. She tries to be strong, tries to keep up with the others, but in the quiet hours she feels the weight of what's missing. The ranch in many ways feels like a living memory of her father, and yet also a place of healing. The audience is reminded that Heartland has always been a story of resilience, how wounds may scar but never fully fade, and how love continues even when people are gone. The ranch itself becomes almost like a character in this chapter. The creak of the barn doors, the smell of hay, the sound of hooves against dirt, all of it holds traces of Ty. For Lyndy, every corner carries whispers of him, though she never saw those moments firsthand. And for viewers, it feels as though the ranch is a bridge between past and present, binding Lyndy to the father she never got to grow up with. The first section of the story shows us this delicate balance: Lyndy's longing for her dad, Amy's effort to guide her, and the family's unspoken determination to keep Ty's memory alive in the simplest of ways. Jack, as the steady hand of the ranch, offers wisdom without many words. His looks, his quiet gestures, his stories of Ty as a young man, these moments carry more weight than any grand speech ever could. Lou and Lisa, too, watch over Lyndy with love, knowing that while they can never replace Ty, they can help build a world strong enough for her to grow in. This isn't just a setup for drama. It's a gentle but powerful reminder of what Heartland has always been about: love, loss, healing, and the bonds that hold a family together. Lyndy's story becomes a mirror for anyone who has ever missed someone they love. Her journey, though filled with sadness, also glows with hope. For in every tear, there is also strength. And in every memory, there is love that endures. The first episode doesn't answer the question of how Lyndy will move forward, but it makes one thing clear: she isn't alone. Surrounded by her family, her horses, and the land her father loved, Lyndy begins a journey of discovery, not just about who Ty was, but about who she is meant to become. Lyndy's story in Season 19 does not begin with action or noise. It begins with silence. A silence that lingers in the spaces her father once filled. In her world, every moment becomes a reminder of what she does not have, yet desperately wishes she could hold on to. She does not cry out for Ty with tears alone. Instead, she searches for him in ways a child can, through questions, through drawings, through her dreams. She picks up a pencil and sketches a man's face. It is not perfect, not clear, but it is enough for her a vision of the father she never got to truly know. Sometimes she leaves these drawings tucked away in places only she knows, like little messages to him, hoping he might somehow see. Other times, she stares at the clouds, imagining Ty's smile hidden among the shapes in the sky. These quiet moments become her way of reaching out to him, even though she knows he cannot reach back. But Lyndy is not weak. She is young, yes, but she carries her father's spirit inside her. Viewers will see glimpses of that spirit when she places her hand gently on a horse's muzzle, just as Ty once did. When she whispers encouragement to a frightened foal, her words carried the same calm strength that Ty had. And Amy, watching from a distance, can't help but feel her heart twist with both pride and sorrow. Lyndy is growing into her father's legacy. Even as she aches for the man himself, there are scenes where Lyndy's longing becomes almost unbearable. A family dinner where laughter fills the room, but she quietly looks at the empty seat beside Amy, knowing who should have been there. A school project where she is asked to talk about her parents, and while she can write endlessly about her mother, her words stumble when it comes to her father. She knows the stories, but she does not know the man. That gap feels like a wound she cannot close. Amy tries to comfort her in the only way she knows, through honesty and love. "Your dad loved you more than anything," she tells her. But Lyndy shakes her head, whispering softly, "I don't remember him." That single line, small and fragile, carries the weight of a storm. For Amy, it is a painful reminder that no matter how much she tells her daughter about Ty, she cannot give her the gift of memory. And for the audience, it is a heart-wrenching truth: memories fade, but longing remains. Jack steps in during one of these moments, offering his quiet wisdom. He takes Lyndy to the barn and tells her stories of Ty as a young man's stories filled not just with heroism, but with mistakes, laughter, and growth. He wants her to see that Ty was not just a father to be remembered, but a human being to be understood. Lyndy listens carefully, clinging to every word, her eyes shining with both sadness and wonder. Through Jack's stories, she begins to see her father not as a distant figure, but as a living presence inside her family's history. Yet, despite the love that surrounds her, Lyndy cannot escape the truth of her feelings. She misses him. She misses him in ways words cannot fully express. This season explores that ache, not to dwell in sadness, but to show how longing can become a bridge to strength. Lyndy begins to realize that missing her father does not make her weaker, it makes her more connected to him. Every tear she sheds becomes a piece of love that refuses to die. The audience will see Lyndy struggle, but also rise. They will see her moments of anger when she feels it is unfair that she has to grow up without him. They will see her moments of confusion when she wonders why life can be so cruel. But they will also see her moments of hope when she feels him near in the quiet of the ranch. When she hears his voice in her dreams. When she chooses to live with the courage he once showed. This section of the story is not just about grief, it is about transformation. Lyndy begins to understand that her father's absence is not the end of her story. It is the beginning of her strength. The season takes her on a path where missing Ty becomes a force that pushes her forward, not something that holds her back. She learns that even though her father is gone, she carries his heart inside her, beating as strongly as the horses that run across the open fields. By the end of this arc, the audience will feel not just sympathy for Lyndy, but admiration, for in her longing she finds courage. In her sadness, she discovers love that never fades. And in her small, determined steps, she begins to walk not in Ty's shadow, but toward her own light. The ranch has always been more than just a home. It is the beating heart of this family, a place where memories live in the walls, and where every challenge, no matter how heavy, must be faced together. In Season 19, Heartland reminds us that family bonds are tested not only by grief, but by the pressures of life itself. Lyndy may carry her father's absence like a shadow, but around her, The ranch continues to breathe, pulling every character into new struggles and new beginnings. Amy, strong as ever, finds herself balancing two worlds, being a mother and carrying on the work that has always defined her. Horses arrive at Heartland with wounds both seen and unseen, and as Amy heals them, she sees pieces of Ty in every gentle nudge, every patient step she takes. But with each horse she helps, the weight of expectation grows heavier. Can she truly manage it all, being the guide for her daughter, the caretaker of the ranch, and the keeper of Ty's legacy? It's a question that cuts through this season, demanding answers. The ranch itself is not free from conflict. There are whispers of change in the valley, new neighbors bringing new challenges. Old debts, threatening stability, and decisions that could alter the future of Heartland forever. What was once steady ground begins to feel uncertain, and every character is forced to confront what they are willing to fight for. For Lyndy, this chaos becomes both a burden and a lesson. She watches as her family pulls together against the storms, learning that resilience isn't born in calm days, but in the fire of trials. Jack, the unshakable foundation of the family, feels the years pressing harder on him. Though his wisdom and strength remain, he knows that the world is changing, and that the ranch will one day rest on younger shoulders. His bond with Lyndy deepens here, not just as her great-grandfather, but as her anchor in a shifting world. His advice comes in quiet moments, a hand on her shoulder after a hard day, a story told beneath the glow of the barn lights, a reminder that strength isn't about never breaking, it's about rising again every time you fall. Lou, caught between her duties as mayor and as part of the family, faces choices that put her loyalty to Heartland in the spotlight. Can she lead the town and still protect the ranch's spirit? And Lisa, ever graceful yet strong, stands beside her family, showing that love is not only about comfort, it is about the courage to stand firm when the world wants to move you. Together, these women embodied the spirit of Heartland, unyielding, determined, and forever tied to the land that holds their history. But the season doesn't just revolve around old faces. New arrivals stir the peace-fresh hands at the ranch, unexpected visitors with ties to the past, and outsiders whose presence challenges the Heartland way of life. With each new character comes a ripple in the calm, forcing the family to face hard truths and to prove once more that Heartland is not just a place, but a way of living. The tension between preserving tradition and embracing change hums beneath every scene, creating a sense of unease that keeps the story alive and unpredictable. For Lyndy, these family and ranch struggles become more than background, they become her teacher. She sees her mother fight for every life that steps onto the ranch. She sees Jack stand tall against challenges that could have broken lesser men. She sees Lou wrestle with the impossible balance between duty and heart. And through it all, she learns that love is not only something you feel, but something you defend, even when it costs you. One of the most powerful images of this season is not a single person, but the ranch itself. Horses gallop across fields that once carried Ty's footsteps. The barn doors swing open to reveal both old memories and new beginnings. Storms sweep across the sky, testing the fences, but never breaking the spirit of those who live within. Heartland is more than wood, soil, and fences. It is the glue that binds this family, the sacred ground where grief and hope meet as the family battles the challenges of the ranch. Lyndy begins to see that missing her father is not the only story. Her journey is part of something larger, a family that has always fought for each other, a land that refuses to give up, and a spirit that outlives loss. Every conflict, every challenge, every trial becomes a part of her growth, shaping her into the person she is meant to be. This section of the story lifts the focus from individual sorrow to collective strength. It reminds us that while Lyndy's heart aches for Ty, she is surrounded by a family and a ranch that will never let her face the world alone. Heartland has always been about survival through love. And in Season 19, the family proves once again that when the storms come, they will stand together no matter the cost. Asterisk, the screen fades to black. Silence, and then one sound. A single heartbeat, steady and strong. The music begins softly, like a whisper, before swelling with urgency. The audience is pulled into the storm of emotions that define this season. Lyndy, her eyes filled with longing, stares at the empty space where her father should be. Amy, her voice breaking, tells her daughter he is always with us. But the question lingers in the air like smoke. Will that be enough for Lyndy as she begins to shape her own path? In a flash, the trailer erupts into a cascade of powerful moments. Lyndy gripping the reins of a horse too spirited for her age. Amy shouting her name across the field, torn between fear and pride. Jack slamming his fist against the fence, his voice trembling as he admits, "We can't protect her from everything." He's sharp. Fleeting images show us a season not of quiet reflection, but of roaring emotion. Where every choice has weight and every heartbeat carries history, the camera lingers on a single shot. Lyndy riding alone across the pasture. The wind tangles her hair, the sky darkens overhead, and in her determined eyes, viewers will see the reflection of Ty's spirit. This is not a child lost in grief, is a girl daring to rise from it. And yet, the suspense deepens. Will she find strength, or will the past swallow her whole? The family drama reaches its peak. Lou stands before a town meeting, her voice rising with defiance as she defends both Heartland and the memory of those who built it. Amy collapses against the barn wall in tears, whispering that she cannot do this alone. Jack, his voice hoarse with emotion, declares, "Heartland will stand. No matter what comes against us." Each voice blends into the next, creating a symphony of hope and pain that reminds the audience what Heartland has always been about, never giving up. Even when everything feels broken, but the most unforgettable moments belong to Lyndy. She sneaks into the barn late at night, touching the saddle her father once used, her small hand tracing the worn leather, as if she could touch him through it. She stands in the field under the stars, whispering "Good night, Dad," as the wind stirs around her. And in a scene that will leave fans gasping, Lyndy sits beside Amy and finally asks the question that has been buried in her heart. If he loved me so much, why did he have to leave? The silence that follows is heavier than thunder. Amy takes her daughter's hand, tears falling freely. Unable to find an answer that will heal the wound, the trailer races forward, horses galloping in the rain, fences breaking under storm winds, a stranger arriving at the ranch with secrets in their eyes. The music rises higher, faster, pounding like a heartbeat out of control. The screen flashes with glimpses of laughter, anger, tears, and triumph, cutting so quickly that the audience is left breathless, and then silence once more. Lyndy's voice, soft but unshakable, echoes in the darkness. "I miss you, Dad, but I'll make you proud." The final image appears, Lyndy on horseback, silhouetted against a blazing sunset. Amy watches from the porch, Jack at her side, the family gathered behind them. Their faces are worn with both sorrow and love, but their stance is unbreakable. Heartland is more than a place. It is a promise. The music swells one last time as bold words fill the screen. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. The journey begins again. And with that, the trailer ends, not with answers, but with questions that demand to be followed into the season ahead. Questions of love, loss, courage, and the strength of a family bound together by something greater than grief.